All right. Folks, this is the man, Raul Tellez, who's responsible for getting me down here today to Las Cruces, New Mexico. And Raul, gosh, how long have we been talking on the phone?
Probably 3 years. A little over 3 years.
And you called me up and told me there's a sale I need to get down to, right?
Right. I told you, I remember 3 or 4 years ago that I mentioned that about 800 or 900 people and maybe 600 or 700 Mennonites, maybe 100 gringos or Americans, and maybe 100, 150 Mexicans, both from the United States and, of course, from Mexico.
Wow. Well, I'm excited to be down here. And now yourself, Raul, again, you work for the New Mexico Department of Agriculture?
Correct. I've been employed by the New Mexico Department of Agriculture for going on my 26th year.
Okay.
And my responsibility is to facilitate sales between both countries.
Okay. Now we're talking all kinds of things here.
All kinds, yes.
Tell me about some of the things that you
some
facilitated.
Of the things, a lot of equipment, a lot of seed. We have a seed producer in New Mexico, and we've probably sold $12 or $13 million worth of seed to Mexico and Sonora, to Chihuahua, the state of Chihuahua. Okay. In fact, I've set up some distributorships for him in Mexico. Another one is dairy cows during the dairy termination program. In a span back in '86, in a span of 110 days, we sold 4,500 dairy cows.
Wow.
Some were milking in Roswell, which is about 250 miles from the border, and then we're going 650 miles into Mexico.
Now, where are you going tomorrow? You're flying hopping on a plane?
I'm going on a little vacation trip. We're going up to Montana.
Montana?
Yeah, and coming right back.
Okay. And you've also told me about helping folks find used oil rigs?
Yes.
That was for folks in Mexico that we're looking for?
Yes, some people in Mexico have asked for well drilling rigs, and, of course, they can be used for other purposes, I'm sure.
Okay. Well, what's really interesting to me about the sale, as you and Charlie have described it to me, is the outreach that you guys have done over the years to reach out to the farmers across the border in Mexico. So tell me a little bit about how that started.
Well, about 25 years ago, Mr. Dickerson asked the Secretary of Agriculture, Dr. Stevens, who has since passed away, that he needed assistance in promoting his auctions in Mexico.
Okay.
So that's when we started traveling into Mexico, and we found out that there were a lot of Mexican colonias Mennonitas, Mennonite colonies.
Okay.
So we started going into Cuauhtemoc, and there's about 35 Mennonite communities that we have traveled to, all of them.
Okay. And how far from Las Cruces here?
We are from Las Cruces. We're 50 miles to the Mexican border, and from the Mexican border into Cuauhtemoc, we're talking about 300 miles.
Okay.
So we can leave here at 6 a.m. in the morning, and we can be in Cuauhtemoc by 11 or 12 o'clock.
And so getting to know the folks down there, how did you make connections with them?
We started going there about 22 years ago and met some people, and then in the later years they had a agricultural fair, which is held on the last weekend in August.
Okay.
And it's a 3-day fair, and Mennonites from all over Mexico come. Some of the relatives are in Bolivia, some are in Peru.
Wow.
And there's a magazine that is put out by Mr. Siemens, and it's in German, and it goes to every one of those countries.
Okay.
And this is where we have established excellent, good, friendly relations with these people. Frankie, Frosty, and Corny, his brother, and Jacob is a good example.
And Frank is the auctioneer we were talking to from Cuauhtemoc.
Frank is the auctioneer, yes.
Okay.
And he auctioned yesterday in German, English, and Spanish.
Okay.
But I don't think there's an auctioneering firm in the United States that has the capability and the outreach that Mr. Dickerson has. We hunt for the mailing lists, for emails.
Well, tell me about the mining sale recently where the company thought the machinery was only going to sell for what?
Well, there was a big auction in Morenci, Arizona, held by PD, or McMoran now, and Charlie mentioned to me that they were going to auction off a lot of equipment, and it was interesting because the man in charge of the auction, when Charlie got there, told him, if you can get us $500,000 for all the stuff that we have lined up here, we'll be very happy.
Right.
And I understand the sale that day was $1.4 million.
But now you were actively looking for mining companies in Mexico.
Yes, when Charlie told me that he had been awarded the auction, because people had to bid on it, and he was the lucky one, I immediately got on the phone and called my friends in Mexico, and within 2 or 3 hours we had mailing lists of all the mining companies in the state of Sonora, and Chihuahua, and Durango.
Okay.
Just for your information, there's 78 mining companies in the state of Sonora. One of those mining companies came in and bought a D8 or D9 and paid $350,000 for it. First piece of equipment that was sold brought $350,000.
Yeah, that's a good way to start a sale.
Yes,
isn't it?
I think that set the kind.
So now, Raul, you're interesting. You were showing me before your list of contacts, and you're always on the phone, people calling you, trying to get information, but you don't have it in a computer.
No, sir. I do not have it in the computer. I don't have time. I'm too busy on the phone and too busy meeting people in El Paso. And I have 6 of these little.
They fold out.
The little folding. There's 100 on each side.
There's a lot of information on those, Raul.
Everything is here. I have 6 of these, and they stay with me all the time. If I forget them, I'll drive back and go pick them up.
So Machinery Pete's number got on one of those somehow.
Yes, luckily you're on my list. Let me put it that way.
Well,
you're fortunate to be on my list.
I'm glad you kept calling me, Raul, and it's fun to be down here, and it should be a fun day at the auction. So thanks again for bringing me down.
You bet, and I'm glad you're here, and I hope to see you more in the future.
Yeah, we'll bring some of our friends from up north down and catch this auction.
They need to bring their equipment down here and get top dollar for it.
You bet. Now, Charlie, again, you're going to be auctioneering somewhat in Spanish today. Now, I find this interesting. You did not learn Spanish as a kid. You picked it up along the way.
Well, I was exposed to Spanish when I was a kid, but I really didn't realize the importance of communication. And after we started this business, I realized where our market was, and
right.
we have to, we need to be able to communicate. So
right.
Everyone that works for me is bilingual, and
okay.
it's a learning process that every day we're learning more.
Okay. Now, I've been advised that you have a number of dictionaries. Charlie, tell me about this.
I've worn out the best bilingual dictionary is the University of Chicago.
Okay.
Is the best. I've probably worn out 4 of those.
You just study it.
I've read it cover to cover probably 6 or 7 times, and then I get into the Mexican dictionary.
Okay.
That are Spanish dictionaries that are Spanish words and Spanish.
Okay.
There's no translation. It's just strictly in that.
Okay.
And it's kind of a fun game to learn something new every day. And
well, you must find that it helps the connections with your customer base tremendously, I would think.
We have to communicate. The people that can't communicate don't have this market.
Right. Well, that's and you're still learning as you go forward. I just find that interesting. It's so easy these days for people to be closed-minded about having attitudes about things, and it seems to me like you've built quite a business here, Charlie, by being open-minded to try new things and reach out to people.
Well, we try to treat our customers the way we want to be treated, and so we have to be able to communicate with them. We have to be able to understand what they want, and then we have to try to explain to them how we can help them in the things that we do. But if they don't understand what we're saying, it doesn't do us any good to talk.
Okay. So actually, the auction today, when you're auctioneering it, you'll be going in English, and you might just slide into some Spanish then, or
it'll be back and forth. It just depends when you look at the bidder and who's bidding, and we'll, like I say, we'll switch back and forth. It's just
okay. Well, I can't wait to get some video. This will be fun today.
Well,
good stuff.
We're looking forward to it.
Buys them, and
The Mennonites will buy these, and they'll send them, repair them or dismantle them, and send them to their relatives in Bolivia and some countries in South America.
40-year-old washing machines for sale at the auction.
But a lot of this stuff, look at that hay cutter, horse-drawn, motor grader back here.
A little bit of everything, huh?
Yes. A lot of people like to buy this as antiques.
Well, I can't say I've ever seen a 40-year-old washing machine sold on an auction. So
well, these will sell, and they'll go for $200 or $300.
Is that right? I'm going to have to create a new category in my database role for used washing machines. That's not going to fit with anything I have now.
But look, old milk cans. There's some milk cans over there in the back.
There's a lot of washing machines here.
Yes.
Holy cow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
What do you think my wife would say if I brought home a 40-year-old washing machine from New Mexico? I think she'd like that?
Well, she might wrap it around your head, but that's okay. At least you've contributed to the economic good of New Mexico.
Yes, we'll see what I can do.